What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So Lucid does have their launch event coming out tomorrow. We already know a lot of which they're going to be bringing up, such as the gravity and showcasing a lot of the errors, but there might be some pretty good surprises in store for investors. So I want to share some things with you. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe is always greatly appreciated. With that, let's get right to it. So this was posted on Reddit, and as usual, Lucid does like to be very mysterious. So cover a lot of vehicles and things like that, just leave a lot of mystery. And again, coming from an investor standpoint, we hate it, but we absolutely love it at the same time. So this was the most recent thing that it goes to show what are they hiding. Clearly, it's way too small for a vehicle or something like that. So I want to get your 2 cents. Before I go any further, let me know your thoughts on what that potentially could be. I'm going to go over what I possibly think it might be as well, but this is most likely going to be displayed during the actual launch event. So in case you guys do not know, it is November 15th at 10 a.m. And when it comes to it though, it's a very exciting time. I'm going to be trying to live stream this as well. So make sure you guys subscribe and hit that thumbs up. It is in 1 day, 1 hour, 51 minutes and 32 seconds. So a lot of anticipation with this, especially piggybacking off of the kind of mixed results of our Q3 earnings. And in my opinion, at least, I think a lot of analysts are also waiting for this launch event before they give us any ratings. So hopefully this launch event is very good for Lucid. But again, what is this exact thing? Or better yet, what other surprises might they bring during this launch event? And what I personally like to do is typically look at a lot of the earnings reports, and more specifically the transcripts, because I think Peter and Sherry does give a lot of Easter eggs, whether they think they do or not. So when you do look at the most recent Q3 earnings, they do talk on a lot of different things. One of which is what they announced about the Sirius XM, how it's going to be giving a 3-month trial and so forth. Outside of that, accessories. So we do know that tail end of October is when they really started to announce about their accessories. So the charging station, which does help cut down on a lot of the charging time, it speeds things up considerably. Outside of that, they do also have that capsule on top, or the cargo area. So as you can see, the first at-home charging, so right here, pretty good. But again, going back here in this picture, this is a pretty big picture, so it might not necessarily be this charging thing unless it is placed on a table. But once again, this actually might result in absolutely nothing. This just might be food for the actual staff at the end of the day. Just once again, they like to give a little bit more of a hint to investors. So keep in mind though, I'm not a financial advisor. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. So when it comes to it though, like I said, it could be possibly this just placed on a actual table or whatnot. In addition to that, it might be this, because when it came down to their actual earnings, they were really had a nice little spiel about their accessories, because when it comes down to accessories, it is very, very beneficial and will add to the bottom line for Lucid. And so some basic stats right here. It does look like 90% of new car owners customize their car within 90 days of the purchase, and roughly about I think it is about 30 to 40% of the actual accessory price is pure profit for the company. So even more reason why Lucid should push out a lot of these things, because as far as pricing, it does look like the hauling rack is about $500, the rooftop is about $2,000. As far as this, I believe the charging station was $1,200. So yeah, it looks like $1,200 in that regard. And so keep in mind, I know $1,200 won't make that big of a difference, but once we start selling roughly about 10, 15,000 vehicles every single month, this is going to make a very big difference, because I'm sure a lot of individuals will be buying this charging amount, especially more so if it does cut down on time. So let me know your thoughts on that, and if you think that this is, or maybe it's accessories that is going to be under this cover potentially, or if it might be something else. I think as well, one thing that they didn't talk on in the actual Q3 earnings might be related to ESS. And so ESS is going to be a very big business and big revenue source for Lucid going forward. As you can even see, $2.28 billion for Lucid Motors by 2030. So I think in general, they are moving in the right direction. Based on the Q1 earnings and the transcripts, they did refer to a second prototype that they have. And even more so outside of that, they did expand the Casa Grande, I believe, by 3 plots of land. They did talk on that particularly, but they didn't explain why in the Q3 earnings. So once again, Lucid likes to give little tidbits, but not the full information, which makes being an investor very interesting in the grand scheme of things. So it might be ESS related, potentially under this cover right here. But once again, It's just jumping to conclusions. Let me know your thoughts on what you feel this might be. Since they did really try to push it and incentivize the accessory aspect in their actual Q3 earnings, I personally feel this might be the reason, or at least under this table or on a table or something like that. In addition to that, it just might be the next actual part of their YouTube. So on their YouTube channel, they like to showcase the big benefits of Lucid and all their technology. So it might be the next step in that regard. So let me know your thoughts on that. But continuing on, as far as the ESS, they did recently have this position just open for a manager of the stationary energy storage system, ESS, electrical hardware. So clearly they're starting to hire a lot of big positions behind that, and more so a manager. So once again, once you hire a manager, it's just a short time until employees are start to being hired for this. So once again, maybe in Q4, the actual earnings, this is where we'll get concrete information about this. Or like I said, there's a lot of different things that they could announce in the launch event. It might not be anything that I talked on, or potentially it might be both. So it's one of those things that we just have to wait until tomorrow to find out ultimately. But I'm very much excited about the launch event, and like I said at the very beginning, hopefully this is going to be very positive, and the gravity is very just jaw-dropping and absolutely amazing, that a lot of analysts will look at Lucid and realize that the gravity is the future and going to be a very big aspect of Lucid going forward. So let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe, is always greatly appreciated. If you do like my channel, want to support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.